You're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and somehow, you've just had a full argument with someone who hasn't even said anything yet. Not only that, you won. Completely. Perfect timing. Perfect words. In your head, they finally understand you. And for a second, it feels real. Then you blink, and nothing actually happened. But your chest feels heavy. Your mind feels tired. Like you just lived through something that never existed. Or maybe it's not the bed. Maybe it's the shower. Or you're walking somewhere. And suddenly, you're gone. Not physically, but mentally. You're deep inside a conversation, replaying it, fixing it, rewriting it. You say things differently. Better. Smarter. And in that version, everything works. You win arguments that never happened. You prepare for conversations no one scheduled. And somehow, this feels normal. If that felt a little too accurate, this isn't just overthinking. This is something far more precise. Your brain is running simulations. Because what feels like random imagination is actually a system. Your mind is trying to predict reality before it happens. It scans your past, pulls out emotionally intense moments, and uses them as data. Then it builds scenarios. Fast. Detailed. Almost cinematic. Not for fun, but for protection. But here's the twist most people never realize: your brain isn't trying to imagine what's likely. It's trying to prepare for what could go wrong. And that's where things quietly start to spiral. A single thought enters your mind, something uncertain, something that matters. And instead of passing, it expands. Your brain searches for similar moments. Times you felt awkward. Misunderstood. Unprepared. It selects the ones that hurt the most. And then it builds from them. Conversations. Reactions. Entire outcomes. You're not just thinking anymore, you're rehearsing reality. And here's the part that changes how you see all of this. Your brain is wired with something called negativity bias. Which means it naturally focuses more on potential threats than positive outcomes. So even if things are likely to go fine, your mind zooms in on the one version where everything falls apart. The awkward silence. The wrong words. The rejection. And the more you replay it, the more it starts to feel like truth instead of possibility. But it goes deeper than that. There's a network in your brain called the default mode network. It activates when you're not focused on the outside world, when your mind drifts inward. This is the system responsible for your inner voice, your memories, your imagined futures. And for some people, it doesn't just activate occasionally. It becomes the place they spend most of their time. Which explains why this doesn't feel like just thinking. Because your brain doesn't separate imagination from reality the way you think it does. When you vividly imagine something, your body reacts. Your heart rate changes. Your emotions shift. You feel stress from conversations that never happened. You feel relief from problems that don't exist. You feel drained from living inside scenarios your mind created. This isn't overthinking. This is emotional rehearsal. And over time, something subtle but powerful starts to happen. Your mind begins to prefer this internal world. Because inside your head, everything is controlled. You can pause. Rewind. Say the perfect thing. Real life doesn't give you that. Real people interrupt. Real conversations go off script. Real outcomes are unpredictable. So without even realizing it, your brain starts choosing simulation over experience. Not because you're weak. Because your mind is trying to protect you from uncertainty. At some point, this became a pattern. Maybe there were moments where you didn't get to say what you needed to say. Maybe you felt misunderstood. Something didn't go the way it should have, and instead of leaving that unresolved, your brain adapted. It created a space where you could fix things. Finish conversations. Finally be understood. It was never random. It was intelligent. It was survival. But here's the paradox no one talks about. The same mechanism that protects you, he can slowly disconnect you from reality. Because the more time you spend inside your head, the less present you become in your actual life. You're there physically, but mentally, you're somewhere else. And people notice. Not consciously. But they feel it. It doesn't feel like depth. It feels like distance. And that's the hidden cost. Now here's the part that most people get wrong. This isn't a flaw. It's actually a sign of something powerful. People who experience this deeply are often highly perceptive. You notice things others miss. You think in layers. You feel everything more intensely. The problem isn't that your mind goes deep. It's that it never learned where to stop. Because without awareness, depth turns into anxiety. And imagination turns into escape. So the solution isn't to shut it off. It's to understand it. Because the moment you become aware of what your mind is doing, something shifts. You start catching it. That exact moment where a simple thought begins turning into a full scenario. And in that small gap, you realize something important. You don't need to predict everything to handle it. You don't need to rehearse every outcome to survive it. Because the ability to stay present is far more powerful than the ability to prepare for everything. So next time it happens, and it will, pause. Not to fight it. Not to judge it. Just to notice it. Because that awareness is the line between living inside your mind and actually living your life. And if this felt uncomfortably accurate, like it explained something you've never been able to put into words, then subscribe. Because this is just one pattern your mind uses that most people never even realize they're stuck in. And once you start seeing these patterns, you can't unsee them.